Hey YouTube, this is Mochismo Eugene. I'm gonna cut right through the chase, and I'm gonna talk and expound just a little bit on why I have my camera pointing towards the television. It's pretty self-explanatory, I'm pretty sure. And I don't have copyrights on this. This is a fair use clause. This is just for the express reason to educate. There's no copyright infringements here. So, I've been away for a few weeks. I haven't made a video in a while. That's not really important right now. But I have been observing, as I always am, every day of my life, as I've been awoke from this narcissistic abuse. And the relationship I was in 2019, woke up in 2020, as did a bunch of us on YouTube. And disturbing does not even begin to scratch the surface of, the circle is the reflection of my ring light off of the television. If you see that circle, I just saw that, but excuse me and forgive me for that. But back to topic. Disturbing would not even begin to describe what we see as empaths, awakened empaths. The intuitiveness that we've had, that was God given to us to begin with, our newfound awakening intuition, the before us can't hold a candle to the after us, the new us. The more you walk into the new self, your intuition is gonna be on blast. You're gonna see some things that you kind of wish you didn't see, but at the same time, you know that this is a gift from God. This is something that you don't take credit for, first off, and I've said this a million times. It's by the grace of God that we are awakened. Even if you don't embrace a faith in God, take it from me, like someone once said, even if you don't believe in God, just believe I believe in God. Because short of God intervening, there is no other explanation for how we awaken to this disturbing, demonic thing in our world. And having been awakened, there are still people that are so asleep. People who've gotten out of the relationship, that are going back to them, and they're awaking, but they would rather go back to the comfortable, in which they think is comfortable. And this is the cognitive dissonance. Nothing against these people. A lot of us have gone back. Fortunately, I began to see when I woke up, it was a done deal. But I believe in hindsight, the cognitive dissonance, I experienced it by way of, there were debates and there were disagreements during the dating process before I ever moved into my house, blah, blah, blah. And I would give them another chance to further destroy me. You know, you make up, break up. So that was my cognitive dissonance, to which we all will experience some degree of that. So getting back to the very topic that I'm really wanting to talk about, and my spirit is jacked up, man. I'm not. Forgive me if I'm not articulating. I'm not being proper. I'm just gonna talk to you guys straight. There has been so many murders. There's been so much bloodshed. There's been so much heinous acts, from the George Floyd knee on the neck, which people are still thinking that this is a racial issue. Then you have 6 police or 5, whatever it was here most recently, black police officers that brutally murdered a black guy. Is it race? It's narcissism. These are narcissists. Their power is unquenchable. And when they lose control, this is what happens on the other side of that. They will go to lengths that you and I, who are angry, that want to get people back, we would never go to these degrees in our own capacities of thinking. We would not go to these degrees to hurt someone to the point of murdering them, or even shooting them, or killing them, or stabbing them. Short of self-defense, I don't think that we're built this way. And I'm going to let this play for a little while. I didn't mean to get so jacked up on this, but you know what? This is deep in my spirit. And I've never asked for anybody to give anything as far as monetary contributions to the videos that I have. I don't have a lot of them on here. I'm not that savvy in this as some of my friends who I've built a friendship with that have thousands and thousands of subscribers. Kudos, I support that wholeheartedly. They're putting in the work. They're getting this information out. A man that labors should be compensated or a woman should be compensated for their labor. And so that being the case, I've never asked for anything monetarily, and I don't plan to, because I have a very good job. I have a very good job. I'm not well off, but I have a very good job. I'm self-sustainable by the grace of God. I don't want for a lot of things. And if I was putting in the work and my channel was set up to some degree, I probably would ask for certain things if I had to invest in equipment and different things to make the channel up to par. But I'd still, beside the point, I'm asking you guys this one time for something. And that thing is, I need for you guys to connect with what is happening in our world. Empaths, awakened ones, anyone under the sound of my voice, wake up and don't go back to sleep. And what I mean by that is, you have the knowledge, you have the insight, you are aware of what these individuals are, these monsters, these demons. Why would you even take a nap, metaphorically speaking, on any given day when you see this behavior? Don't tone it down, don't downplay it. I'm not saying yell from the top of the roof. Observe this intensely, casually. Don't dismiss it. What you will hear here, not the byproduct, you will hear verbatim a consistent pattern of what these demons are. You will see a lack of remorse. You will see someone who is calm, lacking emotion. You will see someone who brutally, savagely slaughtered his wife and his son. And he was so careless. They are careless. They're so stupid. And the reason why I believe he did it, you want to know motive? No motive can suffice why these people do what they do. It's the pettiest of reasons. I believe his wife and his son, which through testimony, it gave me an indication that I might not be far off with my theory. They found out not only did he have an opioid or somewhat of a drug addiction, this is what they do to medicate and to regulate their emotion. They have to continue to induce alcohol, cocaine, whatever it is, because he had so much dirty dealings going on from day one and things were unraveling. So he had to do this to keep his mojo. He had to induce himself with all kinds of pills to keep the edge off, to take the edge off. And I believe his wife and or his son, they discovered some dirty dealings, and they discovered these pills, that he had an addiction. They discovered that he had some accounts and balances that weren't adding up. And I believe they had some deep seated information on him. And it was probably going to be exposed. Maggie, his wife, probably found out something that was just incomprehensible, that she could not keep to herself any longer. And I think she had given him an ultimatum. You either do this or that or else. Just my theory. Because of the fact of how he set them up both to go to that kennel. Probably said something's wrong with the dogs. They're acting very funny. I need you and Paw to go down and care for them. I'm tired. I got to work on a case. Because within 10 to 15 minutes of them going down there is when they were brutally murdered. And he did it so savagely and so careless and so heartlessly, to the point where the smoking gun was apparently the obvious that they gave him a 5-week trial, to which everybody's due. You have the right to due process, and I know we don't really like to understand our world this way. We figure, oh, because if everybody had their way, or some of us had our way, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, we take people out in front of a shooting squad. And I don't think that is the way God created us. Although he's going to spend 2 life terms in jail, he'll die in jail. He's probably going to take his own life. On and on and on. But this man, through the testimony, you see all of the things that he did that you will hear the prosecutor even say, we didn't even know this man. And this is what they do. I'll play probably 15 minutes of this, and after it's done, you probably won't hear the sound of my voice. At the end, I'll just cut this video off. But I encourage you guys, do this one thing for me. Don't fall asleep. Don't wax cold about Narcissist, because you and your healing is in the awareness for yourself first. But you're not aware for yourself for no reason but yourself. You're aware and you're awakened for other people. We have to pass this on. There are people that I see and I know that are harmed by these people, and it's a burning desire. I don't know how to connect with them, because wise as I am now, knowing you're fighting a losing battle of sorts, because you can't go right way and tell people what you know about these people. You can't warn people right out the gate in layman's terms. You have to find a way. But you have to ask God to guide you, because this is a demonic agenda by Satan. He's getting us through the music. He's getting these people through the influence. And now we have inflation. We have all kinds of things by narcissistic, driven, ambitious world leaders that have, and not to get into politics, because we all know who are awakened here. Undeniable. We don't argue the fact. The political spectrum is littered with narcissists. The spiritual spectrums are littered with narcissists. The legal forums are littered with narcissists. One day I'll make a video about why I cease and desist attaining a lawyer, and I had a check in hand given to me by friends. But I think I mentioned that sidebar in the past, but I'll go in depth on that. But enough of that. I'm so heated, I'm so jacked, in a good way. And I just had to share this with you guys, and here we go. Let's see if we can stop that and go right to it. That was the wrong one.
It's Relief Weekend at your local running store. We can't pay your sales tax, but we can help. It's easy. Buy as much as you want at Runnings and get
Pull individuals of his family and friends and law partners get on the stand and listen to that video and say, that's him in that video. Got on the stand for the first time and said, okay, I was there. He was forced into doing what he does all the time, and that's coming up with a new lie when he's confronted with evidence he can no longer deny. And the only reason he did that is because all of those witnesses at that witness stand said, yeah, that's him. He's there. Why would he lie about that, ladies and gentlemen? Why would he even think to lie about that if he were an innocent man? Why would he even think about that? But he got on the stand and he's told you a story, and we're going to talk more about that story in a minute. But his story was that he didn't want to go down there, and then he went down there, and he went down there really quick and got care of the chicken, and he went straight back, and he can't remember anything about what he talked about with Maggie. He can't remember their conversation at dinner, but he's daggone sure about the fact that he went down there and went straight back. But even if you give him the benefit of the doubt, his story doesn't make sense. Because that kennel video is 50 seconds, it's over at 8:45. Even if you give him the benefit of the doubt that he could take care of the chicken and maybe the fastest dog and chicken chase ever, and put that chicken up and not say a word to Maggie and Paul and get on that golf cart and drive all the way back to the house, where does that put you? It puts you right at 8:49. At which point he claims he went inside and he managed to doze for a second. Then he's up at 9:02, perhaps the quickest nap ever. It doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new story to fit facts he can no longer deny. From a person who, not a single person who was close to him knew who he really was. Not a single person close to him hadn't been lied to by this man. And I will submit to you that this one is the most blatant one yet. And we'll talk more about that in a second.
I said I wasn't going to talk, but I just want to emphasize something here. To some of us who probably are not catching this, let me get my thought together here. This is going to keep happening, people. This is going to keep happening. Our world is just full of this demonic activity and awareness that we have. We can silently prepare and protect ourselves against these people. We just got to tune them out and turn them off. When we give them the opportunity to invest in our life is where we set ourselves up for them to do the unthinkable. And what I wanted to say was, man, my thought was just so much with this situation here. You know, this guy took his son's life and his wife's life, and they don't show emotions, and they fight to the latter end. And he's probably paid these lawyers a lot of money because he was making millions. His whole family has a legacy in this town. And the thing you got to know about Southern Charm, I'm from the South. Sometimes, you know what a narcissist can do? They can gain leverage with people who are here. They'll manipulate and smear you. They're smearing you when you walk in the door, not even knowing you. Your aura frustrates them. It agitates them. So they go on the smearing campaign, having not even knowing you. And so by chance, if they've heard about you and there's some good things, they'll sabotage that and they'll reverse it. Make up lies. I've dealt with it a long time, and now I recognize what it is and how it plays out. How do you combat that? You don't. You just allow that thing to burn itself out. And so I don't really know exactly what I was going to say, but I can say this and still be really much on point, because there's so many layers to this type of demonic behavior. This man does not show any emotions that correlates with someone who is distraught, who's lost his son and lost his wife. And the manner that these people were killed in close range. Like I say, disturbing is not even the word. And even the people, if you can notice down in the lower, near where the writing is, you see that still shot of these people. It's not even a somber existence. These people, if you could read their expression, they have been hoodwinked for decades. But he probably wielded his power and prestige because they're arrogant. They're arrogant in their manipulation and disgusting behavior. So these people, if they could speak, if their thoughts could speak, they'd be like, Karma's a bitch. You finally getting what you fill in the blank. You're getting what you gave. And it's just sad that, and in the Bible Belt, to which where I'm from, Alabama, the charm, the respect, the cordial, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. He's using that. He's using the sound bites. So what I was saying about they will sabotage your kindness as an insult to anyone who will listen, because they mimic good behavior. So therefore, even when I meet people and they don't know anything about narcissists to the depth I do and us survivors do, they're kind of like half aware or partially aware. They know what the meaning is, they know what it means. So therefore, they're on the defense of good-natured people. If you can follow what I'm saying, they're on the defense thinking my charm, my gift of gab is something that they need to put a guard up against because I'm manipulating them. And this is how they distort and counterfeit good people's behavior. I just wanted to share that. So when they do this to you, don't worry at all. Your good behavior or your good manners or your good intentions, they're being seen, and your consistency is undeniable, and it will be seen at the end. Just like this guy's manipulation is unraveling. Nobody knew this guy. That's the definition of a narcissist. They wear a mask. I'm getting a thought in my head about mask off, Percocets, the rap. Anyway, finish up.
What happened at 8:49? Y'all been to the scene. That feed room door is probably big, tighter than this. But you saw the evidence from Kenny Kinsey and all the rest of them that clearly Paul was in the middle of that feed room. It kills him. Nobody in there with him. He's in that room. No defensive wounds at all. His hands are down. And he takes that shot, hook shot to the chest. And any person who did that would probably think that took care of business, because this hook shot, but for some reason he was handed this way and it went through. It was a million-to-one shot. And it didn't kill him. Alec got it. Alec, the lawyer, Alec, the prosecutor, Alec is speaking proof that we'll see he's manufacturing an alibi, and he's also manufacturing the fact that there's two guns used. But we know, unlike the expert they called from Connecticut where they can't even get ARs, he doesn't know about people riding around the property, he doesn't know about Paul and the two guns he likes to use, he doesn't know about this family and how common those guns are together. He says, well, his only conclusion is, oh, it would be practical for somebody just to fire out the clip. This is him, this is Alec, the prosecutor, the lawyer. He's thinking through this. He's thought through this. He's going to use two guns because it's going to confuse people that perhaps there were two shooters. But again, it doesn't make sense. Two family weapons. But he thinks Paul's shot. You heard the testimony that Paul appears in the feed room doorway. Is Alex putting down that shotgun to pick up the blackout? Is startled by Paul? And that's why the angle's like that? And catches Paul like that? And goes up into the ceiling, as you've heard the testimony from Kinsey. He blows his brains out. And what happens with Maggie right here? We see activity on Maggie's phone. You heard about sandal prints. You heard from Kenny Kinsey about the mark on her leg. from the Polaris over there by the overhang next to the feed room. You've seen the diagrams and the crime scene photos that all those cases are in that area between the doorway to the feed room and where Maggie was found. You heard that Maggie had no defensive wounds. You also heard Paul and sibling from that first shot, a close range shot, with no indication that he detected a threat from the person who fired that weapon. And why? Because it was him. Same with Maggie, because Maggie sees what happens and she comes running over there, running to her baby. Probably the last thing on her mind, thinking that it was him who had done this. She's running to her baby while he's picked up the blackout and opens fire at close range, again with no defensive wounds. When she takes those two shots that you heard Dr. Remorse say were parallel, and it crumples her over. In those cases, you can see them move around. And takes that shot that goes through here, and she goes down flat. And then there's the shot in the back of the head. Malice? Is that malice, ladies and gentlemen? Is that malice to do that?
Weigh, print, and ship, all from one device. The Pitney Ship Cube from Pitney Bowes.
Is that malice to do that? Is that intentional harm to another with a bad intent, with an evil intent to do those things? Clearly, I submit to you. Clearly, it's malicious. Clearly, it's malicious.
I think I'm gonna stop it here, YouTube, because it's 5 weeks of testimony. This is 19 minutes and 45 seconds on the YouTube, as you can see right there. I'm 27 minutes into this. I'd employ you guys, or encourage you guys, to go in here and take a look at this. You can see this is Law and Crime Network. Someone uploaded it from whatever site they uploaded it from, and just go into this trial, because a lot of us, we're so invested in our day-to-day life. We see these things that are happening, even though some of us have been awakened out of our own narcissistic abusive relationship or entanglement. Some of us can't even and I would believe, and this is just a shot in the dark. Some of us oftentimes don't even recognize this as what it is, a narcissist. And the psychopath, he's a psychopath. And this is the stuff that is going to keep happening in our world, because when you see people who are pathological liars, a lot of times there's so much more behind that. There's so much more behind that. And we're so dismissive. We're so quick to pass off people's mistakes, because what happens is, in the church, how they get you in the church, oh, you have to forgive. We have to forgive if you want God to forgive us. And forgiving someone, we forget about the fact of what they did yesterday and allow them a new day to start all back over. I can go on and on and on, guys, but I ask you, before I leave, do this for me. Invest in YouTube by way of getting in front of your phone. And you don't even have to get in front of your phone, show your face. You can do what I'm doing on this video. Just get on here and talk. There are a lot of contributors to these channels. Narc Survivor, he started in the beginning not even showing his face. He just a year ago, I think maybe started showing his face, maybe a little bit longer, but at first he was not even visible. When I got onto him in the beginning in 2020, he was not, I didn't even know the face behind it. So if you're shy or you're a little bit put off or hesitant because you don't want to be seen, you don't want people knowing who you are, you have that right, but your voice has to be heard, because you have some contributions to give to this. We cannot sit laxed about this. I said early on, I don't put the devotion up to put videos out every day, every week, whatever. But when there's something heavy on my heart like this, man, you better believe I'm coming hard with it. And this is what I wanted to share with you guys. This and things such as this are going to keep happening. I won't say a Trayvon Martin case, but there is strong chances that that guy, based on the fact he's running around with a gun trying to be a police in the neighborhood, they think they're the law. This guy here, Murdoch, Alex Murderer, my God, walking around with a badge, 2 badges, grandfather's and one that he got as a whatever you call it, being a legal attorney, they give him this, and he had blue lights installed in his car, just obsessed with being important. Well, you're important now, buddy. You're officially a nobody. Now, I want you guys, please invest in YouTube, invest in your voice being heard. That's the only thing I'm asking. No money. The likes and subscribes, you're free to do that. I implore you to do that. That's appreciated, because as a lot of us say on here, the algorithms pick this up. And if you like my videos and you like other people's videos, the algorithms, this will keep popping up to people who are unawares of this disastrous, monstrous disturbance. Johnny Depp trial just recently ended last year, I believe, and people went right back to sleep. I asked people, did you see the Johnny Depp trial? And you see the girl that he was dating? I say, that's what we're dealing with in our world. And they say, oh yeah, she was crazy. And that shows you how disconnected they are from it. And a lot of them, you might mention that too, they may border on have a strong narcissistic behavior. And when you be knocking close on somebody's door and they're afraid that this behavior may somehow resemble what they do, they back away from it. And rightfully so. They don't want no part of change. They don't want no part of self-reflecting. And this is the stuff going to keep us stagnant. With that, bless.